what's going on here. What's going on here? There we go. That fixed it. Okay. Now we should have audio. And just confirm to the rest of the internet that there is no audio, because apparently people have to Facebook message me and not use the chat, but that's okay. Okay, so circling back to the very beginning of all this, welcome to my HomeLab stream, now that we have audio. So I kind of started doing this on a complete and total whim. I cleared my HomeLab, and I noticed that there was a HomeLab community on Twitch. So I figured, why not share with the internet all of my all of what I'm doing here. So we're going to start with your Reddit post has the wrong link to your stream. Okay, all right. Well, thanks. I'll have to. What is my? Apparently, see, this is my first time ever doing the Twitch, so I want to create a mirror effect. Need an L at the end. Okay, all right. Here, can you post that to Reddit for me? All right. Well, thanks, AU for all. So, anyways, getting back here to everything here. Like I said, I don't know anyone in the IT community who says they think they know everything. You should take that with a fair amount of skepticism. So hopefully you'll learn some things from me. I know I'll definitely learn some things from everyone else here. So, like I said, I want to keep this as kind of more of an interactive presentation. Hello, Bacon Cowboys. Welcome to the stream. So, like I said, I want to keep this more of a conversation. So, if you have any questions or comments during it, I'll keep an eye on the stream here. But first, in any HomeLab is the virtualization setup. We're going to be using Microsoft Hyper-V, because that, in my opinion, is kind of the easiest to work with. They've got kind of it's a low barrier to entry. And if you have Windows 10 Pro or above on any of your machines, and if any of you are I'm sure most of you watching are gamers, because you're watching this on Twitch, you can add Hyper-V virtualization to your computer. But I went ahead here and I built my own HomeLab. I built this a couple years ago. I took some additional refresher courses at a community college, and my computer was just I took a VMware class, which is another virtualization platform. It's probably the most popular virtualization platform that's used by a lot of businesses. Hyper-V is probably second, although I don't know the popularity of it. So I built this, and the reason why I built my own server is mainly because I wanted it water cooled. I have an old HP ProLiant upstairs where my server is, and that thing was loud as hell. And and it just sounded like the fans were just continuously running on that thing. So I went and built my own, made I made it water cooled. So it's actually nice and quiet. And actually when it's idle, it's only using like 90 watts. So it's not adding too much to my electric bill. I think I pay like 6 cents a kilowatt hour. So not too bad for people. If you've seen other people's home labs, they've got like these massive systems that I'm sure are costing them hundreds of dollars a month on their electric bill. But this guy's, barely doing anything to my electric bill, which is nice. And, we're not going to be doing anything super complicated, so you don't need a huge beefy system here. So we'll get into it here. So I remote desktop here into my server here. Now this is running Windows Hyper-V Core. Yes, no, Superman, welcome to the stream. Yeah, no, those Pro Lions are jet engines. So I've heard some people say that they can get them quieter with like a BIOS tweak or something. I tried all that. I don't know if I just my house just wasn't cool enough or there wasn't enough airflow. But this is all right. This is all right. So this is again Microsoft Windows Hyper-V Core Server 2016, and it's absolutely 100% free. I will put a link to all the downloads. To download Microsoft Hyper-V, you need a you need a Microsoft ID, which I'm sure most of us already have. And then also to download VMware ESXi, which is VMware's free version. You also need a VMware login, which again, this is also free. It's just so these people can send you automatic email logins and everything here. Or they can send you automatic email advertisements and sell you classes and training and everything. But who needs training when you have the internet and unlimited YouTube videos? Again, like I said, but I am by no means an expert on things. At my job, I use VMware in my production environment. I've got a smaller Hyper-V setup at work that I run a couple logging servers off of, and we'll get into that in additional videos here. But we're going to so if you'll notice here, Hyper-V Core server looks a lot different than any other Windows server that you're used to dealing with here, because it is all command line based. It is designed to be super thin and require very minimal resources to operate. And we're going to be popping up a lot of Server 2012 core servers here throughout this video series. So what is the makeup of this particular virtualization host here? So if I do here, I'm already in PowerShell here in this server. So if I go, what is it? Git WMI object is win32 underscore computer system. That'll give me the basic information here about this computer here. You'll see this is the motherboard from Asus that I installed here. And then if we go win32 processor, it'll give me the information about the processor I'm using. I have it linked in the channel description down here. I have it linked actually to an Amazon page for it. Something that I noticed as I was kind of further researching this particular CPU probably won't work in a modern board that you're buying, because there's a newer version of the socket that it uses. Like the newest version is version 3. This particular CPU won't work on it, so I'll change the link at the bottom, or I'll add a warning to it. So just keep that in mind with the particular socket that this processor uses. That it's dirt cheap right now, because this is a Sandy bridge, and I don't know what we're on right now, but this was originally a $1,300 processor. If I do system info, which is another command here that will give us information. Again, if you're new to PowerShell, most of your PowerShell command, or most of your normal or all of your CMD commands will work. Like ping works, so you don't have to worry about. Wow, that's weird. I can't ping Google. How's my stream? My stream appears to be working. That's weird. Maybe Google got sick of me pinging it. Anyways, that is weird. I've never. Anyways, so any of your normal command prompt commands will still work in PowerShell, so you don't have to worry about that. But I've got 32 gigs of regular RAM in here. I went cheapo. Yeah, it is probably something having to do with IPv6. I've got AT&T as my ISP, and they like to default to IPv6 for a lot of things. So yeah, so for a lot of things you have to specify IPv4 or just get used to IPv6. Anyways, so I've got 32 gigs of RAM here. I went cheap when I built this, and I used non-EEC RAM, which just means error correcting RAM has an extra bit in it that should, because when you're running servers, like an SQL server or an Exchange server, there's a lot of stuff that's kept resident in RAM like 24/7. And so if something happens, Aurora Borealis, some kind of, just random power fluctuation, and like a 0 gets changed to a 1, the error correcting RAM will catch that. And it'll fix it. Like I said, I'm not running anything that a business is going to operate on. So I went with the cheap, regular non-error correcting RAM. And then this has 8 cores on it, this processor, and there's 20 megabytes of cache on this processor, and then a regular a regular meg of L1 cache per core on this. So at the time, with this in 2012 when this processor was built, this was a pretty beefy processor. But again, not using anything too crazy here. And then again, when you're dealing with a virtualization machine, RAM is key. The more RAM, the better. This guy can go all the way up to 64 gigs of RAM. And who knows, if we get more complicated, if we get more complicated builds, maybe I will wind up having to bump this guy up to 64 gigs of RAM. Or what I would like to do is actually add another server, and then maybe we'll do some clustering with this and everything, and I'll build another semi-identical server so we can do some clustering and some failovering and live virtual machine migrations. But typically, when you do it in a production environment, you want 2 identical servers, and then some sort of storage that's separate, like a NAS, or at the very least a SAN, a SAN, or at the very least a NAS, or some sort of additional storage controller. Anyways, moving along here to the fun here. So I've got already, like I said, this is a Hyper-V core, and actually Hyper-V core, if I do Git, is it Git Windows feature on a server? Yeah. So if I run Git Windows feature here, you'll see here that that the free version of Windows Server that Microsoft gives you, you get file and storage services with it. You get multipath I/O. You get you get SMB. That says SMB 1.0 is enabled, but it is disabled. So I know that's a huge security hole, and I just noticed that's checkmarked there. But I did make that is turned off on my server. So like if you just want like a backup server or a regular file sharing server, and you're more comfortable with Windows over any other Linux variants, this is a way to go. I mean, you can do BitLocker encryption on it and stuff like that. So you can do a lot of stuff on the free version of Windows Server than just. And Microsoft doesn't like to give things away for free. But as you can tell, we've got Hyper-V installed here. And then, of course, remote server administration, including your Hyper-V management tools here. So that gives us your standard Hyper-V PowerShell commands. So, for example, in PowerShell, you can do git command here. If you're unfamiliar with PowerShell, most of their commands are in this verb noun format here. So git command, git process, git service, restart service is one that you'll use a lot. anyways here, so if we do git command and we use the flag here module and do Hyper-V, and then of course one of the greatest things I love about PowerShell is it's got tab complete as opposed to a command line here. It'll give you a list of all of your Hyper-V commands here, and then if you're not, here, let me open up PowerShell here on my on my computer here. So if we just do git, for example, if I do git command git VM, and then I do, or no, not git command. That'll just tell me if that command is. If I do git help, and then type the name of a command like git VM, we'll do git VM host, and then I add this online tag to it, it will open up in your browser of choice. Keep in mind, it won't do it in Edge, but it'll open up the Windows documentation on that particular Hyper-V command. So this way, like no one has all this stuff memorized. The stuff that I use all the time, yeah, I kind of have that more memorized. Like resetting an Active Directory password, yeah, I got that down pretty pat. But like adding and moving VMs and stuff, you're not doing that all that often. So that is a great little thing that Windows added, or that Windows included in PowerShell here. But we're going to do git VM host, and it's going to say we have one operating VM host here. It is Orion. It's got 16 logical processors, like I said, 8-core processor with hyper-threading. And then, of course, I've got the virtualization flag turned on in the BIOS. If you want to do virtualization normally on your home PC here, and you've got Windows 10 Pro or above, you might have to go into your BIOS and turn the virtualization on your processor. And it's usually called like a V. I think Intel it's called V Pro. For AMD it's called something else. If someone knows it, they can put it in the chat. But you have to turn that little processor flag on in order to allow virtualization to run on your processor. So you'll see the naming convention of a lot of my machines here. They're all named after cluster. They're all named after stars and constellations. Anyways, here. And also if I do git VM, it'll give me a list of VMs that I have running here on my computer here. So like I have this Ubuntu VM here running, and it's actually doing nothing right now. So I can actually do stop VM web dev, and that'll stop it. It's going to start shutting down my my VM here. Oh, vPro is for remote management. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. So it's VT-X is the thanks Nannerkins on the Twitch chat there. Yeah, so the vPro is like the remote management. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, they're disabling that. They're discontinuing vPro because it's a huge like security risk, right? I believe that's the case. Anyways, but vPro, you can do a lot of like remote management of PCs. If like there's just power to the network card, you can do a lot of scary things with it. And there's a lot of applications and features that do that. But for vPro is what you want to have turned on for Intel processors, and it's AMD-V for AMD processors. It definitely does have some uses some uses out there. I do like the. I actually haven't gotten much into it. The tools that I use at work, I use SolarWinds tools, and the SolarWinds tools have some built-in things to them, and I know they're doing some things in the background, but I haven't really played too much with the vPro stuff. Maybe we'll get into it, because I believe this processor has vPro in it, so maybe we'll play a little bit with it, and I might have a laptop or two that has vPro in it that we can play around with it. Maybe we'll play around with it some in a future stream. Anyways, here, so I stopped my web dev server. So again, if I do git VM, you'll notice that both of them are stopped here. So I'm pointing to my screen, and you people can't see that. So I've got this bworld here -dc.01, which is going to be our first domain controller, just like a cooking show. Just like a cooking show. It's I've pre-created it in the oven, so you don't have to wait for me to bake a new VM here. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it on here, and I bet you can guess what the command is here. Start VM, and we're gonna do bworld.dc-01, and that's gonna turn on. That's gonna boot up our virtual machine here. And we're going to go into, we're going to turn on the Hyper-V management tool here. They've got a little GUI here that, and actually it will auto-update. If I do like a command to add a new VM, it'll auto-update this thing, and you can watch like someone like live change a Hyper-V server here. But we can go ahead here and click connect onto it. And it's going to automatically do an RDP session here into this first domain controller that I created. This is just a fresh install of Windows Server 2016, the full version of Windows Server 2012. Basically, before I did the stream, I wanted to make sure that my key worked for Server 2016, and it did. So yeah, that would be embarrassing if my CD key didn't work throughout this process here. So I wanted to make sure that worked here. And then I can log in here, and I did a new, oh wait, hold on, what is it? It's not Alt Control Delete. In Hyper-V, it's Alt Control End in Hyper-V. To replicate Alt Control Delete in Hyper-V, it's Alt Control End. In VMware, it's Alt Control Insert, and in SolarWinds, it's Shift Control Delete. So I have to remember what service I'm using in order to log in here. I changed my password scheme here. For this web series here, so I got to remember what it was here. Wow, hold on. Where'd my notes go? Crud, where did that go? Anyways, we don't have to log into that just this yet here. What did I do with that? It was. No, okay, all right. I'll have to pull up. I wrote that down on another legal pad, apparently, because you should never write down passwords. Anyways, so like this is just a fresh domain controller, right out of the box, so we don't have to particularly. But the goal here is we're not going to do much GUI stuff. We're going to stick to as much PowerShell as we can do. A good habit that I learned from an older sysadmin is that you really should kind of like any major changes you can do. You should script them first. That way you're kind of doing more of a conscious thought process than just kind of like clicking through like a GUI wizard or something, just kind of clicking next and forgetting some sort of setting. And then also, when especially when you're doing it through PowerShell, you can what kind of fine-tuned options are there out there. So let me grab my notes here. And there are 2 steps to kind of script creating an Active Directory forest here. So here we are. So the first step is you kind of have to do some Active Directory, or you kind of basically have to prep the server in and of itself here. And oh wait, that's not it. Hold on. Where did my notes on that go? Packets, effing. I have a whole bunch of stuff here that I kind of plan. Data deduplication of like notes that I took of stuff that I want to do on these streams. There we go. Is this it? Yeah. Okay, here we go. I have a bunch of notes here, and I gotta find the right set of notes here. Anyways, here. So, first thing that we need to do here is basically kind of give it all the things that it needs here to be a domain controller, to make our server a domain controller. So first thing is we need to, so I've got, this is just Visual Studio here. I've got one of the more popular PowerShell plugins on it here. So it'll do like automatic completion, and we'll be able to look up a PowerShell command and stuff like that. And again, this script I'm going to upload to the GitHub repo I have linked in the lower right-hand corner of the screen here. And so I will update that after the stream here. So we're going to create a couple of variables here. So the first variable here is IP address. Here we'll do a camel case here. And we're just going to make that here. So I haven't really done anything to my home network here. I haven't done any major changes to it. So I'm just running the standard like home networking DHCP scope right now. So I'm on a 192.168.1 network here. So the DHCP scope that my home router has, that is currently the DHCP scope is .64 through .63. So that means anything below .63, or excuse me, anything below .64, we can use as static IPs. Like my server, my Hyper-V server is on .20 here. So the link to your Twitch on HomeLab is missing the. God, I am just awful with linking. The link to your Twitch on HomeLab post is missing. Oh, the L at the end of your Twitch name. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, okay, good. Again, thank you for correcting that, AU4. And welcome to the stream, D-Hunter4. And again, if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, think I'm doing something wrong, let me know. Because this is like the first, I very rarely do most people kind of sysadmin out loud. So I'm going to, for the time being here, we're going to give this domain controller 192.168.1.30. That is the static IP address here that we'll give it for the time being. Again, if this stream gets popular, maybe I'll buy some Ubiquity equipment, and we'll do a real network here at my house. Actually, I probably will regardless. So maybe I should just order that now. So that's what we're going to make our static IP address. And then our prefix here, our subnet mask, if you will, here. That is going to be 24. And let's see here. Our gateway, that is, for my current HomeLab, is 192.168.1.254, because that's what AT&T uses on their routers. And then, of course, our DNS server is going to be this machine. Oops, DNS server is going to be this machine because Active Directory basically has to point to itself here, and we're going to make that 127.0.0.1, so it uses the loopback IP address there because we're pointing to itself, and then we are going to run the command here, new net IP address, and so we're going to run the command here in parentheses here, get net adapter, and then we are going to select the if index here. Oh wait, hold on. Nope, I'm reading my notes wrong here. We want our network interface to be get net adapter dot if index. So if I switch over here to my, not to this guy, to the other thing I remoted into. The nice thing about PowerShell is it uses the .NET framework. So anything that you do is so if you know like where it is in the .NET framework, you can do just about anything you want with it in PowerShell. So for example, if I do get net adapter and then I run the command and I pipe it into the PowerShell command get member, it is going to basically print out the entire .NET structure of that particular item here. So if I scroll up here, we've got this is the type here, Microsoft Management.infrastructure .cim instance, and then it is a Microsoft Net Adapter CIM instance, and then these are the various properties or methods, that you can run against it. Nothing really specific here. These are just standard. These are just standard things. But like if you run it on, but like stuff like services and processes will have like a kill method and everything with it. And these are all of the properties that it keeps track of a network adapter. And so, for example, if I just run get net adapter, this shows all of the 3 network adapters that I have running on this computer here. So here are the 2 actual physical gigabit network cards that I have running on here. The second NIC card I don't have connected to anything at all. That's why it says disconnected. But basically, you've got the for any virtualization platform, you need a kind of a virtual switch that basically controls all the networking here. So this is the Hyper-V virtual Ethernet adapter that I have going. I named it Orion Virtual Switch 1. And then you can have as many virtual switches as you want. You can run some of these virtual switches can be like completely isolated from your regular network. You can make them route through various different stuff internally or on your network in order to get to where they need to go. So that's what you see here. So this is technically all of the internet traffic is being flowed through Ethernet adapter 1 here. Whoops. Is being flowed through Ethernet adapter 1 here, and then being processed by this virtual host here. But if you'll notice here, it only lists certain items here. We've got the interface index number, the status, its MAC address, and the link speeds here are kind of truncated here. So if I do get net adapter, and we'll do if index 5 here for the actual physical NIC card here that we're using, and if I tell it to select, that's not what I want. If I tell it to select star, get too eager with the tab complete sometimes. And if I hit select star, it will print out everything, any little piece of information that you could possibly want to know about this network card. It's 1 gigabit per second. Its physical media type is 802.3, which is your Ethernet standard. Its driver that it's using, the link or the driver version, its MAC address, the GUID of the instance that it's using. It is a Microsoft Net adapter. It is, it's just anything. It is running in full duplex. So anything that, any possible thing that you could want to know about it. And if you go back up here to the Git member here, it'll tell you the things that are gettable and settable here. So if it's settable, that means you can change it in some way or another. You as a user can change it through either direct manipulation through like .NET or through a PowerShell command, or creating your own PowerShell command here. So, and then again here, if we do git net in net adapter here, and we save it to a variable here, we'll just call it net card. All right, so if I call it here git network card here, and if I do $netcard dot if index, that will, you can use what is it called in programming, dot accessing dot something. Anyways, so you can select. So that's how you can direct. So that's what our script is doing. We are basically saving the net adapter. It's actually going to save an array of net adapters and store it as an inner, and it's going to store all the information on that as an array of objects, and then we are selecting the interface index number. And again, I'm pointing to the screen because you people can see me pointing to the screen. Oh, geez. Anyways, here, so that's what we're doing here with this variable here. We are getting the network adapter, and we are saving the interface number here in a variable. Welcome to the stream, my AO cat. All right, here. So then we're going to do new net IP address here, which is again going to use the net IP address .net object here, and we don't need an equal sign in that. And so our IP address that we're going to assign to it is going to be yeah, selecting an element into a structure. Yeah, it is about the same if you're kind of more familiar with C programming. Yeah, we are selecting an element in a structure, or selecting a property in an object, depending on what level of I might have misplaced. You might have misplaced misspelled interface. Oh, I did. Yeah, that's, you see, the nice thing about tab completion is interface. The nice thing about tab completion is it tab completes when you do your variables. Tab completes your misspellings. Anyways, here, so our IP address is going to be $IP address, and then we're going to do dash prefix length. Again, that's selecting our subnet mask, telling it that it's going to be .255.255.255.255.0. So we're going to select IP prefix. Our interface index is going to be our $sign network interface. And what do we got? Oh, default gateway is next here. So we've got our default gateway. Again, it's going to be default gateway is going to be network gateway. And then did I forget DNS? I created a DNS IP address. I think we're going to be using that later on here. All right. So, and then another thing. So the next thing that we want to do here we're in this PowerShell script. We are creating a new network IP address here. We're going to rename the computer here. And again, it's a very simple, PowerShell command here. Rename computer here, and we are going to our new name here, and we are going to name it bworld.dc.01. I own the domain bobbysworld.org. And so that's why, our Active Directory domain is going to be named bobbysworld.org. So that's why it's or not bword, BWRLD. You don't want to misspell the name of your domain controller. That's not setting you up for success right out of the bat there. And then just for safety here, we're going to force the new name upon the computer here. And then we are going to add the Windows feature here. Let's see here. What am I going to do here? How am I adding the feature in these notes here? Feature path. Oh, okay. So we are going to new item feature log path. Oh, okay. So we are going to export the what's installed on this server, which is going to be nothing here. Or no, sorry. We are just going to what are we going to do? What am I doing here? I looked at this a couple days ago here. So we're going to create a variable here called server feature path. And then that is going to be equal just to C:\\/ server, we'll call this server features.txt. And then we are going to create a new item. And then it is going to be our server feature path. And our item type is going to be file. And we're going to force it. And then we're also going to add to the server so we're going to add to that here. So if I do, I've got I have RSAT installed on this computer here. I'm sorry, this is tiny. I forgot to increase the size of this one, but this my computer here has this installed here. If or actually here, no, we can do this here. So if I do git Windows feature again here, this is everything that's installed here. Basically to add it to PowerShell. So if I wanted to even though it's already, so here, if I wanted to add failover clustering, server administration tools to this one, this is the name I would use in the PowerShell script to add to it. So that is what we're doing here. And because this is not a full server install, you won't see your Active Directory tools here. Oops, I'm doing this here. So tools to add. So we're going to add, it's our sat ad-tools, and that's going to add our Active Directory remote administration tools to this actual server here, and that's going to give us the additional commands that we need here. Hey Dan, welcome to the stream. That's going to give us additional commands here that we need to add the Active Directory features to this domain controller here that we're creating. So and then at the end we're going to restart the not rest computer, restart. Geez, restart computer, and that is going to be Yes, you would do that. So Nannerkins asks, what about using include management tools? We in this particular case, we can't add Active Directory. So to have the management tools, you have to have you have to have the Active Directory tools. It's basically a chicken and the and an egg situation. So for example, you could what is it? Add. Oh God, I forgot the primary command here. Tools to add Windows. So we can do add Windows feature. And thank you. I would have forgotten to add the features we were adding here. There is this flag here that says include INCLU include all sub features too. Include management tools here that you can add to it. So if I was Dan's going mountain hiking. Everyone say hi to Dan. I pop on Dan's streams every once in a while when he plays video games. So everyone say hi to Dan. Anyways, Dan's going to the mountains instead of playing with computers all day. Exercise. Anyways, if I was installing something like IIS, you could add this include management tools, and it would add internet IIS tools to it. So you would add IIS or Internet Information Services and the management tools associated with it also. But because we can't install Active Directory without the background Active Directory tools installed on the computer, we have to do this first. But great question. Yeah, I'm kind of doing like I said, it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing here. And then to record our progress here, we are going to do get Windows feature. Get Windows feature, and we're going to pipe in where installed, and then this little these little two arrows here. What do they call them in like the little see out arrows that you use in I could try doing some more excitement here, my AO cat, that you're tired and falling asleep. But anyways, we'll get to some more. We'll finish this script here in a second here. Is the pace going all right for everyone? Like, this is the first time I'm doing this. I don't sysadmin out loud very often. If everyone's, let me know what everyone thinks about the pace that I'm going here. I can, STFU. Like, I don't know how, what kind of background everyone's coming from. So I'm might be going into a little bit too much detail. I don't know. Anyways, so we're going to go win uninstalled, and we're going to pipe that into our server feature path here item. Oops, not that variable. We're going to pipe that into server feature path. And then we're going to restart the computer. All right, so we're going to save this command here. And I have to find out what I did with that legal pad that I wrote my password down on. Because we're going to need to do that now. So anyway, I'm going to save this command now here, and then I have to log into my actual server, of which, again, it was right here. I didn't move it at all. Oh wait, hold on. This is what I get for cleaning. I found it. Ah. That's what I was typing. Where is this here? Alt Control End. Right? There it goes. All right, so this is our brand new fresh server here, and can I it's going to pop up server manager here. Can I just, will this allow me to drag a file in here? Because I just want to run this PowerShell script. I just want to run this PowerShell script. Where is this being saved here? Solution, Explorer. Is there an open to, can I open in Explorer? Open folder in File Explorer. There we go. Can I just, so if I bring this guy over here, and we will close out Server Manager. Let's see here. Can I just drag this on here and it'll copy? Maybe. What about right click, copy, and then, oh, come on, I had such high hopes. Clipboard, no, come on. All right, can I, it's because I don't have, it's gonna be a pain to create a file share. Because I don't have Active Directory running yet, and I'm gonna have to do like a whole bunch of like security things, which you all don't want to see. Which you all don't want to see here. So, anyways, but you guys don't want to see me going through. Well, let's see here. Documents. We'll open up documents, new folder, PowerShell, and properties, sharing, and all right, yeah, I just want to share. Can I share this with everyone? Share. This is, yeah, we should be on a private network here. Okay. All right. So if I then, all right, so I created a share and I made it available to everyone. So if I open up a new folder here in File Explorer, I should be able to go, oh God, what did it, why does Windows like randomly name computers these things here? Win-TN85P8G7CS2/users. Well, actually, if I shared it, oh, it's not gonna like this because of like WS-man and stuff. Exclamation. Ah, yes. Okay. Oh wow! Did it share the whole? It shared the whole users folder. That's all right. Well, anyways, we're gonna do like folder redirection and everything like that on this stream here. So okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna take my PowerShell script that we wrote, and we're going to drag it in there. And now it should automatically be in here. So if I do actually control right click, I think it is, or is it alt control? Yeah, it is a default thing. Yeah, RDP, it depends on the RDP service that allow you to do the drag and drop thing. Anyways, here, so we're going to go. There is, what is it? Is it alt right click? There, you used to be able to do something, or do you have to click in the address bar? there used to be like a short, or is it shift right click? There used to be something, yeah, I know administrative shares are on, but, and user is accessible over the network. Okay. Yeah, I thought I was just sharing this folder, but I turned on, administrative shares are always on by default in SMB. Go back to what Nannerkins and my AOCAT are mentioning on the stream there. Like if you don't know this, it'll be a lot easier to do. I'll show it once I have an Active Directory going, because it's a lot easier to do with like when you're like a credentialed, network administrator and stuff. But anyways, so we're gonna go here into this. There was a command, and I thought it was shift. Is it shift right click? You'd be able to right click, and it's like open PowerShell. And it used to be like open PowerShell prompt at this location. Or do I do on the top? All right, well, I'll just, by the time I do that, we can do this here. We're going to do CD documents and then the PowerShell folder. If anyone knows what that command is, to get like on the right click menu to get open in PowerShell script. I forgot what it was. And my dog doesn't know either. But he might have something to say about it. Anyways, here's our PowerShell script in PowerShell here. He's going to go upstairs and find out. Anyways, shift right click on Explorer but on blank. Oh, open command window here. There it was. And then it opens up a command prompt, but then to get into PowerShell, all you have to do is type PowerShell and you're automatically in command prompt. There you go. Yeah, I knew it was I knew it was something. But okay, so now if I run this here. Oh wait, I copied over the wrong file. That is I copied over the wrong file. See if I cat that, yeah, there's nothing in that one. So I copied over the wrong file. And copy, and then paste that one in there. So if I do ls, there it is. So again, if I just do this prep PowerShell command file that I created here, it's going to scream at me. Or no, it won't actually, because I didn't. Will it? No, it's actually working. Probably because I'm administrator, but usually it will not, because I'm the server administrator here. So it is collecting the data from everything that we install on our server right now. It ran that PowerShell script that we just created earlier. It's running that right now, and the thing that's taking so long, because this is probably the first time it's ever ran that one command, that get Windows feature command. And so it's taken a minute here to go through everything. Yeah, I know I can just type the PowerShell path and hit enter. I was trying to remember the secret thing here. I'm in U.S. Central Time, so it's 11 a.m. here. Right now, but anyways, here, and that's what I wound up doing in the end when I couldn't remember the command to automatically open up a command prompt there. So right now it's doing that, and it's exporting that to this server feature text here, and it's installing the Active Directory remote administration tools. Anyways, so it's installing those here, and actually while that's installing, you can actually see it's not using that much. Let's see here, how many processors did I give to this guy? While it's doing that here, let's see if I can do this. Git VM processor. This is bworld dot dc-01, and I gave it 2 processors. So this, it's probably disk write time. Well, this is on an SSD here, and so did it restart itself already? Did it restart itself while I was minimized down here? I think it did, because it's going to pop open. Yeah, it did. So if we go into right here, if I go Git Windows feature, we should see that our Active Directory, all of our Active Directory RSet tools were installed. So Active Directory module, all these RSet tools here. So now this computer will have the Active Directory commands here, such as git VM, git AD user, and it's going to be like, hey, there's no Active Directory, so it's going to kick up a bunch of errors here. But the most important command now we have here is new AD forest. Maybe it's not. Oh, is it add AD forest? Anyways, well, we'll type that up in our next PowerShell command here. So here we'll close out that, because that's just annoying. And then we're going to minimize that here, and we're going to pop back open. Visual Studio here. Again, I will upload this to the GitHub repository that's listed in the lower right hand corner here. New ADDS forest. Okay, yeah, thank you. That's the command that we're going to be using next here, and we're going to be using that in our new I even called the PowerShell script new ADDS forest. So we're going to do that here. Let me just change here. I was going to talk about Active Directory resources here, but you know what? I'm going kind of long here on this stream, so maybe I'll cover that in the next stream here. I want to keep these like an hour and a half, and maybe give a chance for some Q&A and stuff. So, anyways, but I can't find I don't know PowerShell, but I can't find a reason to learn it. So, you ever, you know what? I'll go into that at the Q&A time here, because I want to, I'm trying to. I don't want to veer off too much here, but like, once you kind of like realize all the stuff PowerShell can do, it's a pretty cool scripting language. And I'll give you an example of that. Remind me if I forget during Q&A. I'll do Q&A at the end here as soon as I finish creating this here. But I was going to talk about Active Directory resources, but we're going to create an Active Directory forest here next. Again, upload all these scripts to the GitHub repo. And what I do with my notes here. Oh no, it's cool. It's cool. No, hey, ask questions. That's why I'm doing this stream here. We want to ask questions. Okay, here. So the computer rebooted here, and we're all set here. So we are going to do here. So again, here our Windows feature list here that we created in the previous PowerShell script here was C:\\. What did I call it? We'll pull it off the other PowerShell script here. Where was that here? Server features.txt. Let's copy that and paste it here. Oh, I forgot the quotes. There we go. So there's our Windows feature list here. And then we're going to actually start a PowerShell job here, which is basically starts it starts another PowerShell command on another thread. So you can do multiple things here. And then we're just going to tab complete is and we're going to call this Adding server features. And then our script block for this is going to be open bracket here, add Windows feature. And then the name of this feature is AD Domain Services. And let's see here. Oh, and then here we are also going to do include all sub features, and we're going to use the flag include management tools, and then we're going to do add Windows feature, because one thing that a server needs is DNS services, because how will DNS break if we don't have DNS services here? And that's just named DNS. DNS. Three-letter words are hard to type. And then, of course, we're going to include all sub-features, and we're going to include... Oh, Jesus. Include management tools. All right, and then we're going to close that. And then that is going to take a while to execute here. So we are going to wait. We're going to use the command wait job, and it is adding server features. And then we are going to do a little check here. We're going to do get Windows feature where installed, and we're going to pipe that to our Windows feature list. Oh, you know what? We got to do 3 PowerShell scripts. Because we got to wait for this to finish here before we can go on. But we won't have to do. But we won't have to do a reboot here. So we'll save this here. I'll probably have to. I'll rename it to something a little bit more smarter. Also here, so we'll save that, and then we will copy that over to our. Just hit refresh here. Copy that over. Replace the destination file. Go back into our server. And oops. Documents and PowerShell. And then you'll see here the newest version is in there because it is identical to our server time. Well, you know what? Let me do this real quick here. Git command, and then what's the command for time zone? Set time zone. Or here, what is? And we got to do git time zone. What's the format that they want it in? So we're going to do set time zone, and then we're going to do Central Standard Time. Did I completely CEN CEN TRAL? Oh, I misspelled standard. The internet knows I'm an awful speller now. Now it's showing the correct time. And if I hit LS again, or CD documents PowerShell. If I hit LS again here. Oh, by the way, PowerShell. In case anyone's wondering why LS is working, PowerShell aliases certain basic Linux commands to work in PowerShell. So so dir works the same as ls. But now all of our times are now the times make sense to me. Anyways, moving along here. So we are going to run this PowerShell script here. New ADDS forest here. What did this like here? Unexpected token in statement. What did I do? Oh, I have an extra curly bracket. There we go. And now we'll save. And we're going to copy these guys back over. Oh wait, yeah, replace the file in the destination folder. That's why it didn't work. There we go. Okay, so now it is executing that script right now. We are adding the server, or we're adding the background job there here. And while that's executing, I'm going to pop open Active Directory here and do add new item. We're going to do another PowerShell script here, and we're going to try this creating. Forest.ps1. Apparently, streaming on the internet makes my spelling plummet. All right, so let's see here. Has this completed yet? Okay, that is completed. And then actually, if we go in here and we go here into the root of our C drive here are our server features. You'll see that we've got the second time around here, we've got our DNS server installed. We got our remote server administration tools. And actually, let's see if I do git net IP address. Git. Oh, hold on, it's searching. Git net IP address. Let's make sure our static IP address took. Yep, here's our static IP address that we created earlier in the PowerShell script. That took. So we're coming right along now. So we're gonna pop back open Visual Studio here, and then our final PowerShell script here. We are actually going to create the domain here. So our new ADDS name is going to be equal here to we're gonna do ugn.bodiesworld.org. The reason why I am adding, like I said, I own the domain bodiesworld.org, so that's why I feel comfortable using this. If you run like a website and an Active Directory of the exact same identical domain name, you can get some problems. I did it with a radio station. I did some volunteer work for a community radio station. I named their domain the same. It was, radiostation.fm was their website, and I named their domain radiostation.fm. And I had to I had to edit the registry of the domain controller because it kept updating the A record of it to the actual domain controller. So we're going to do ugn.bobbiesworld.org here in the tradition of naming your server by the nearest airport code. If you'll notice, I am something. There is some Xbox services on Windows there, my AOCAT. There is. I've always wondered who uses those. There's Xbox services on, and then I want to say even back in Server 2012, there's Xbox. There's Xbox group policies, and I really want to know who uses those. The only company on the planet that I can think that might possibly use Xbox group policies is Rooster Teeth, or like Rooster Teeth like companies. I can't think of like I can't think of anyone who would use those aside from just making sure they're off because you don't want someone in your office running things. I don't know, but yeah, Server 2012 or excuse me, Server 2016 has some Xbox services in it. Anyways, so I am keeping with the tradition of naming a server based off of your local airport of your nearest airport code. If you'll notice, I am streaming on ord.twitch.tv. .twitch.tv. Okay, all right. It's good because you can do automation and run server core, not the GUI. Yeah, and we're our next domain controllers that I'm going to be talking about in the next stream. They're all going to be Windows core. They're not going to have GUIs. Because I'm going to basically run them with like a gig of RAM and like as small of a hard drive as I can. So yeah, our next domain controllers that we're going to add here. And so, okay, so anyways, going back, if you noticed, the server that I'm streaming on, I don't know if you can notice that, to Twitch is ord.twitch.tv. That's because the nearest data center I'm broadcasting to is nearest to O'Hare Airport, and that's O'Hare Airport's ID code. So I'm going to use ugn.bobbysworld.org just because it's convention. Google does it too. You'll see like your Google servers named after the nearest airport ID code. So like if I do like a trace route to Google, I hit like ord dot Google services dot whatever. Anyways, digression over here. Our net BIOS name here is we're just going to do Bobby's World, and we are going to we're going to import a module here. This is why we had to run the RSAT tools at the very beginning here, because this is like the key module that we needed. Well, actually, no, we had to install Active Directory before we could run this, because we need the ADDS deployment module from PowerShell here. DEPL. Oh, I'm just going to copy it out of my notes. Control copy. Control paste. And I forgot the last letter here. And then we are going to use the command install ADDS Forest. Install ADDS. This might not be in my autocomplete here. It's not. ADDS Forest, because it's not. I mean, this isn't like like a. I don't have this. You can't import this PowerShell module onto a computer that's not a domain controller, because why would you want to? Here, and so we're going to do create DNS. Oh, that's right. I got to manually type all this out. I'm not going to have tab complete here. DNS. I'm just going to, you know what? I am just going to copy this from my notes, just so you guys don't have to watch me like type in pain here, which I'm sure is. Did I just? Is there a lot of carriage return? Oh no, this is one big line. That's why. Here. So okay, so we are setting our DNS delegation to false. Gonna remove all these backticks. All that is doing is escaping the carriage return. Our NT database, our Active Directory database is going to be located at Windows / that. Our domain mode, it says here Windows 2012. I'm going to actually change it to 2016 because why not? You know what? I will change that to domain mode. I will keep that domain mode 2012. I'll show basically how to promote an ADDS Forest in a stream here. That'd be a good thing to do. So we'll keep that at Windows 2012 here. That is your domain functional mode, which basically determines like what kind of features are available to your domain at the most. So like if you're in a larger business and you've got like 8 domain controllers, and you're like, okay, I'm going to start upgrading my domain controllers. You're going to install a 2016 domain controller, but all of the other domain controllers might still be running might be at the 2008 R2 operational level. And so you have to keep that 2016 server at the 2008 R2 operational level. Otherwise, all your rest of your domain controllers won't be able to operate. Does that make sense? Okay, so our domain name is going to be the domain, our NetBIOS main, our forest mode is going to be 2012. Same thing for the domain functional mode. There's a forest functional mode. We are installing DNS. Our log path is going to be there. It's going to be in the same place as our thing there. No reboot. Our sysvol path, that's basically the most important path. That is a path that is shareable and accessible to every single computer on your domain. And we are forcing this to true here. I'm going to remove all these backticks here, just to make sure that there is no issue here. All right, so this is the only thing that we need to do here. I'm going to save that, and domain mode for 2016 is actually win threshold now. What's a DC? A DC stands for domain controller. So a domain controller is basically like your big authority on a network. So if you think of I work in aviation, so I'm used to giving aviation analogies. So like air traffic controllers and airports, and like DNS is your airport facility directory. But anyways. Think of your network as like a major apartment complex. Okay, and like your domain controller is going to be like your apartment complex managers, like your people in charge of apartment complex security. Does this person have access to this apartment complex? Should this maintenance guy have access to this apartment complex at this point in time, kind of a thing. And I'll go into more Active Directory. You don't want the Scruffy the janitor coming in when people are taking showers or doing, yes, it is the guard of the Windows domain. Yes, it is the powerhouse of the not endoplasmic reticulum. It is the endo skin of the cell. It wouldn't be the power. Anyways, enough. Make sure those typographical quotation marks are gonna work in line 7 here. I removed. Is it doing weird? Did I copy and paste weird quote marks? You're right. That's a good catch. I don't know if those will work. That is a good question. Yeah, it might. That's an important thing when you're doing any kind of coding, actually. When you're doing any kind of coding, especially when you're copying from like Linux sources to Windows services, you got to look at your carriage returns and your form feeds and the type of quotes that you're using. Good catch. I might have been like bashing my head against this monitor if this wouldn't have worked here. And apparently I still have more backticks in here. The backticks are just an escape character for PowerShell. So like you can do like a backtick and then something else, and it won't recognize that as a it won't take that as like a literal character. It'll do that as a as the like the ASCII variant of it. The string is it is full of sneaky null byte characters. All right, so force equal to true. And okay, we're gonna resave this here, and then I'm just gonna copy this script back over to my domain controller. And I'll just hit refresh here. Copy, paste. Oh, wait, hold on. I pasted that to the wrong spot. I want to put that in the PowerShell folder. Paste. There we go. And then we're going to maximize our Active Directory forest here. or our domain, well, our domain controller pro temp here. It's not a domain controller just yet here, but we are going to run this script, and it's dot backslash create new AD forest.ps1, and it didn't like this. ADDS, did I have too many D's in there? Hold on, git module ADDS git module list available. Am I gonna have to download it? No valid module file was found. So this just listed every single PowerShell module that is installed on here. What is it? Is it install? I have to install it first. Install module. You see, this is the. I am doing. Just this stream is going to be a lot of PowerShell. I'll probably get into some more programming deeper into it. This is more like a sysadmin. It's just that there really isn't like a category to, yeah. Anyways, this is like the best category to put this in here, PowerShell scripting. But yeah, it's mostly going to be PowerShell. But like I might, when we get into like WMI stuff, I might do some more like C# style programming here. RSET tools should be installed. Here, install module ADDS deployment. Is it online? Is it going to search for it, or is it going to need to install like? Is it going to need to install NuGet first? Yeah, so it's going to want to install NuGet. Pretty sure module would auto import anyways without an explicit import module. It should, yes. I just wanted to see if it was there. Let's see here. Okay. Time to ask the Google. ADDS deployment PowerShell module. ADDS deployment. PowerShell. Does someone on the stream know? Because I'm sure you all. Yeah, no, I did that. No, he's right. I did do that earlier in the stream. I do have Active Directory remote server administration tools installed. Yeah, like I said, I have Git AD user installed. And all of those, like Git Git module Active Directory is installed. Because there's a so what is in this article? ADDS deployment. Install. Let's see here. Hold on. Install module ADDS deployment. Install ADDS domain controller. Can't run import module ADDS deployment. Let's see here. Install. I did. Hold on. Install Windows feature. Oh, you know what? I bet the problem is. Hold on. I think I know what the problem is. I got to open up a new PowerShell prompt. I bet that's the problem. Because the services were installed while PowerShell was running. So PowerShell just probably needed a refresh. That's my guess. Because that's probably why it couldn't find it. So let's pop up the correct domain controller, or the correct computer that we want to remote into here. And then now let's try Documents, PowerShell. Now let's try create ADD forest. No, it still didn't work. Hold on, install. Let's see here. Install Windows feature name AD domain services, and then include management tools. All right, where the manage? All right, maybe I didn't get an error with the last PowerShell script I ran. Did I forget include something? Maybe I forgot something. It's entirely possible I forgot something. If you don't import a PowerShell module, typically PowerShell is smart enough to where it'll automatically import it. But usually when you're writing a script, you just kind of want to, CYA, make sure that it has been imported. So let's, all right, so we got, let's see here. So did that complete? I can't remember. All right, so Active Directory. So what is it? Install, or it's new AD forest. Well, let me just ADS deployment test ADS domain install. Okay, all right. Install ADS forest is in there now. I'm going to do the command because it is null. Okay, so now I've got. Let's see here. My variable names aren't correct. Paste. Is that the correct? NetBIOS name. NetBIOS name. Okay. All right, I had some variables mismatched there on that. So we're just going to copy and paste and overwrite and wrong. No. Don't open Outlook. That was the wrong button. And did it not finish copying? What the heck? Did I forget to hit save? Am I forgetting to do basic stuff now? Oh, yes to all. Thank you, Visual Studio. All right, so we're going to. Or did I copy from the wrong? I copied from the wrong location. God. All right. So while I'm doing this here, NetBIOS name. I want new ADS name. Copy. Paste. Save. I copied the old script on top of the script I just rewrote. So we want to go here to here, overwrite, and then back here. safe mode administrator password. This is your, the password that you need to put Active Directory into safe mode. You are really screwed. I shouldn't say really screwed, but I was going to say, hopefully it makes me confirm. You're not having a good day if you have to put your Active Directory in safe mode. I can safely say that I have never had to do that. And I don't want to ever have to do that. Maybe we'll do that in as part of the experimentation for this stream and stuff. But yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see here. That is not okay. So yeah. So this computer does too have a static IP address. Windows Server domain controls have a default, and it looks like we're done here. Or no, it's still installing. At least one physical network adapter does not have a static IP address assigned to it. We did assign it a static IP address. Did it not? It took that. We checked that. Anyways, so right now it's verifying for domain controller. So while this is installing, it's going through its whole Active Directory process. Any questions out there? Because I want to keep these streams like an hour and a half, and I'm at an hour 40 now. So, yeah, anyone have any questions out there? We'll let that stream out to the internet here while we're installing our Active Directory. To go into here, my AOCAT actually asked a little bit about he asked about like why use PowerShell? What's up with why is PowerShell kind of a good thing? And it's like you can do more than just like script, like restarting services and stuff with it. Like here, let's go into something here where the text is a little bit bigger here. So like if I do here run git services, a list of every single service running on my Hyper-V server right now. And so like I can run a command that would send that, if I needed to I could have an automated process that checks certain critical services every so often, and if they're not running, it starts them or something. Or I can have something trigger on an event ID on an event log. But to kind of give an example is I had an end user at my job, which he was using Office 2003, and I'm like, we're getting you off of Office 2003. And Korbaki or Kunraki is right. You have to use PowerShell if you're going to use a core server, and core servers are great, as we'll find out in maybe not the next stream, but like maybe the stream after that. By the way, here's my streaming schedule. I'm going to do mornings, U.S. mornings on Sundays, and then U.S. evenings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If that's if people are up for that or have other suggestions in terms of time, let me know. I think I'm going to get a good group of people, and of course these will be on YouTube. I'll post YouTube links to all these things. I just created the YouTube channel, youtube.com. Actually, I don't. It's if you search, I just created youtube.com/Robbie Rigel, but the /Robbie Rigel might not work yet. I just created that because I decided to do these on a whim. Anyways, moving along, back to PowerShell. Why you should learn PowerShell. Anyway, so I had an end user on the old he was using Windows 2003. He had all these documents that he used as templates that were in the .doc format. And he was like, am I going to have to go in and click save as to save them all as the new .docx format? So he had important, he had my file .doc. And so anytime you opened up Word, it was like, hey, this is in the old file. Do you want to save it in the new format? Yada, yada, yada. And I said, what? Hold on, no, you're not gonna have to do that. Let me write a PowerShell script to actually do that. So I went upstairs, back to my desk. I sat down. I hacked off a PowerShell script, and if it has like a .NET framework, if it has a .NET framework to it, you can, and of course it's a Windows product, so of course it is. You can do all sorts of things to it. So I basically created a PowerShell script. It opened it up in like a silent Word session, saved it as a .docx file, and I just pointed it to the folder all of his stuff was stored in, and I ran it overnight. When he came in the next morning, his my file.doc was a myfile.docx, and Windows will stop screaming at him. And I wasn't aware of that at about Exchange Server 2019, because I am on Office 365 at work. Because Office 365, I was on Exchange 2010. I upgraded to Exchange 2013. And that was and then we migrated to Office 365, and it is just great knowing I don't have to worry about email databases getting corrupted. Email databases aren't keeping me up at night, which a couple of times they have kept me up for over 24 hours trying to repair stuff like that, and they're not fun. So I'm glad that's Microsoft's problem now. But I would imagine Exchange 2019 is more or less based on whatever they're running on Office 365. That would be my guess. It's whatever they're running on their Office 365 Exchange servers. But yeah, and Office 365 has some cool things that some cool little extra add-on services that I just would wish some of my other employees at work would implement. I'm using the Microsoft Planner. I've used it, but before I go on to the next comment or question here, Windows Server, or excuse me, I use Planner to kind of keep track of all of my IT problems and projects, and to communicate them with my company's management, who wouldn't know a domain controller from a SQL server if it hit him in the head. I kind of do here's what I'm doing. If you have any questions, let me know. That way they can go to a web page, and it's here's what Rob's been doing. So, anyways, and I don't know. I've never had to deal with a POSFix server. I don't know how do they store them as databases, or do they store them in a different format? I mean, the problem I had with my organization, I had mailbox sizes that were 20 gigs in size when I took over this place, and I'm just and of course everyone, especially at C-level of any corporation, everyone thinks their emails are important. And yeah, a lot of their emails are important, and some of their emails, for regulatory purposes, they need to save for 7 years. But I'm we can do this better. And when I first got there, everyone was on one mail database. So the mail database gets corrupt. My entire Outlook, your entire Exchange infrastructure went down. I'm sure 20 gigs is nothing. Support architects, I'm sure 20 gigs is nothing. I have heard horror stories. Actually, I had someone who ran out of. I had an end user who ran out of space on Office 365. They hit the 40 gig limit, and I'm you've never deleted an email in your life, have you? And I said they were on a separate instance of Office 365 that was being managed by someone else, and I'm oh, let me introduce you to these things called retention policies. Split over 4 databases, DAG over 4 services. Yeah, I mean, this is a small company, so one Exchange server and one database. But I at the very least, I'm like, I'm going to split you guys into like, I split people up into 3 databases, and like I took all the largest mailboxes and split them out over 3 databases. Like they didn't want to fork over I mean, really, like, why would you, like why would a small business, like if like 40 end users fork over the money for like, Exchange 2016 or Exchange 2019 to create a DAG, or which stands for Database Availability Group, if you don't, even you just let Microsoft deal with it. I mean, they're replicated, I'm sure those things are replicated 10 times over, or however many. Or we'll find out that Microsoft really isn't replicating them, or they're replicating them over like 2 servers that are right next to each other one day. I'm sure we'll all find out. But anyways, any other questions out there before I kind of give the stream a little thing here? Like I said, the schedule that I plan on keeping for these streams, I'm going to be using events. I don't like to push the events. So the next stream I'm going to do, we're going to create 2 new domain servers. Those are all going to be server core. It's going to go a lot faster. And then we'll talk about FSMO roles. And we'll split FSMO roles up between those domain servers. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Like I said, last call for any other questions out there. Here, let me do. Here, I'm gonna minimize this. And last call for questions here. I'll give you 5 seconds after I see that minimize. I have a question about Hyper-V, but it's not related. Hey, you know what? Go ahead and ask it. Hopefully it's a quick question. But so anyways, here, yeah. But if my AOCAT doesn't want to say it, it's fine. Again, real quick, I'm going to upload all these to the GitHub server that I have on there. I do also have a Twitter account that I'll retweet Taylor Swift on security, the Taylor Swift of computers, and like other like people much smarter than me here. But let me turn the GitHub URL off here. But is there something there's something about TLS that I don't remember just about what it is. I think you're talking about like it's the same. It's why I wanted to get the Active Directory Forest or the domain controller up and running, because when you're dealing with computers that like aren't friendly with each other, they're not in a trusted domain together. To get this guy up and running was a giant pain in the butt, because I had to go in and like edit the computer that I'm using here is, I had to make it trusted. I had to enable certain services because we're not using Kerberos and stuff like that. So that might be what you're referring to. But if you remember it, post it in the comments on the video or anything like that. So thank you all for watching. I'm going to cut it out here. Like I said, if you like watching Windows admin / PowerShell streams, on Sunday mornings, I plan on being here next week. So again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you later. And if you're watching this on YouTube, do the whole like and subscribe or ring my bell thing. Thanks.